by bit, putting it together.
Piece by piece, only way to make a work of art.
Every moment makes a contribution, every little detail plays a part.
Having just a vision's no solution, everything depends on execution.
Putting it together, that's what counts.
Ounce by ounce, putting it together.
Small amounts, adding up to make a work of art.
First of all, you need a good foundation, otherwise it's risky from the start.
Takes a
It's
lot of
earnest conversation, without the proper preparation. Having just a vision's no solution, everything depends on execution.
The art of making art is putting it together, bit by bit.
Note by note, working on projection.
Lips, teeth, throat, looking for a moment to inhale.
Keeping the emotional connection, even when your fellow actors fail.
Holding up the subtext by inflection, helping a director reach perfection.
Art isn't easy. Every minor detail is a major decision. Have to keep things in scale, have to hold to your vision.
Bit by bit, putting it together.
Piece by piece, working out the vision night and day.
What it takes is time and perseverance, dealing with the tales along the way. Dealing with the face mask interference,
Waiting for the virus disappearance.
filling up the holes with animation, covering the flaws in the construction.
Lacking in a scenic ostentation.
This is not a face-to-face production.
Looking for a tiny compensation.
Hoping for a thunderous ovation.
Knowing it's a video creation.
Ready for the COVID vaccination. The art of making art is putting it together, bit by bit, part by part, bit by bit, start by start, stride by stride, kick by kick, glide by glide, shake by shake, note by note, song by song, heart by heart, and that is the state of the art.
I think my very first memory was when I was in some of the lower school productions, because I've been here since first grade and I've just always loved performing since I was really little. But the first time I really remember taking a lot of ownership in my performance and performing by myself was when I started doing the talent shows when I was in third grade, and I would get up there with my guitar and then I would sing, and it was always just really the highlight of my year, being able to perform in front of everybody and, I don't know, just do something that I love and share it with others.
And so we used to do these whole lower school plays where we would all just have this specific part. We would play it, and it would be so fun, and I remember being so excited about it. It was super, super fun.
In fourth grade, when I started theater at my old school.
So it was the opening number to Pippin, Magic to Do. I was on stage left, towards upper stage, and we had to do this choreography where we had to do every odd. We had to open our palms and close it. So that was fun.
Lots of glitter, honestly. But it was something that I loved at the time and still do to this very day.
It was directed by you. And I remember doing little Shel Silverstein poems and stuff.
It was when I was in Once on This Island, and it was, I was a storyteller.
Probably when we did the kindergarten play in lower school. I remember standing on the big stage. I felt so tiny and I was really hot because all the lights were shining on me. And I just remember looking at all the sea of people and feeling happy.
Right off the bat, I knew I loved the feeling of just performing and being up there with friends. And yeah, I think that's where it all began. And that kind of spiraled into a lot of singing on other stages, like at school with a talent show. That's something I've done since I came to Steward in second grade. But yeah, I love it.
I think it was at a Spark camp, and we did Frog and Toad. It was a summer camp, and I was a bird. And my favorite part was getting to run across the stage with my briefcase, and I thought it was so cool because I got to hold a prop, and it was my first prop. And seeing all the big kids who auditioned for the parts and then played the roles, the lead roles and everything, that's what inspired me to do it, just because I thought they were so cool and I wanted to do that.
Yeah, I was a student, and it was very fun being backstage and helping others put their wigs on and do their braids and stuff like that.
It was in 5th grade. It was the 5th grade musical, and that was the first time I'd ever been on a stage in my life. Yeah, I don't really remember much of it because it wasn't, but it's interesting how things develop as you get older and how you never realize that you have a passion for something.
I was a little tadpole, and I just remember being so excited getting into the show because it was my first show, and I always loved doing theater. This was just what got me into theater, I guess.
Probably in the kindergarten show. I don't remember any of the plot. I just remember I think it was in a green shirt, and one of my friends was a chef. And I remember when I was about to go on, I was freaking out, being like, oh my gosh, what if I forget my lines? And then I remember after it being very proud of myself for remembering them all, and it was just very fun.
I think it was Shrek Jr., and I got the role of Donkey. So it was one of my very first plays. So I was kind of intimidated, but I was excited at the same time. So I think that is my first memory of being on stage.
Pepper, hurry! The Hour of Smiles is coming on.
Shh! Do you want Miss Hannigan to hear you? Quiet, you guys. We're gonna miss Bert Healy.
Welcome, everyone, to the Hour of Smiles, sponsored by Iron Dent Toothpaste.
I'm your host, Bert Healy. Reminding you, no matter if you're wearing the filthiest rags or the finest from Fifth Avenue, your most important accessory is your smile.
And now, the lovely Boylan sisters.
Hey, Hoboman, hey, Dapperman, you both got your style, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a style.
Your clothes may be bow-grummily, they stand out a mile, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile.
Who cares what they're wearing? The Main Street or Savile Row. It's what you wear from year to year, and not from head to toe. That matters. So senator, so janitor, so long for a while. Remember, you're never fully dressed without a ready or not. Here he goes. Listen to Bert tap his smiling toes.
Ah, the lovely Boylan sisters.
Hey, Hoboman, hey, Dapper Dan, you've both got your style,
But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Your clothes may be bow-grummily, they stand out a mile. But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Who cares what they're wearing on Main Street or Savile Row? It's what you wear from ear to ear, and not from head to toe. That matters. Ah, the lovely Boylan sisters. So senator, so janitor, so long for a while. Remember, you're never fully dressed without a smile.
Probably when I had my first real part. I think I was about 13 in A Christmas Carol.
So I do touring ensemble with Spark, and after one of the shows, the touring ensemble got together and we played a game in the theater when no one else was there. And all the lights were off and we played sardines. So after, finishing this really big show that we were all a part of, just being with my cast members and the crew, it was really nice.
Me and Kaylin were doing our hair and we looked so weird because we had like 2 buns and then 2 braids and it was very weird.
I think when I was in 8th grade, it was the first time that I'd gotten a named role in any of the productions. We were out to dinner and then the email got sent out with the cast list and I was so excited that I was clerk in Chicago.
Oh.
It was very special.
I think it's all of them at the same time.
My 3rd show, which was Honk here at Steward, I loved hanging out with everybody and it was a really fun experience.
I think my favorite theater memory has to be my very first show, Chicago. It was just a culmination of so many amazing people that I got to work with and everybody being so welcoming to me, everybody being so welcoming to me since it was my first show. And I just remember the community was so strong and it was something I just instantly clicked with, and I kind of knew instantly that Steward Theater was going to be a really special place for me.
Eternally, perfect situations must go wrong, but this has never yet prevented me wanting far too much for far too long. Looking back, I could have played it differently. Want a few more moments, who can tell? But it took time to understand the man. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't he fine? Oh, so fine. Isn't it madness? He can't be mine, but in the end he needs a little bit more than me, more security. He needs his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. No one in your life is with you constantly. No one is completely on your side. And though I moved my world to be with him, still the gap between us is too wide. Looking back, I could have played it things some other way. Learned about the man before I fell. I was just a little careless, maybe. So much younger than now. At least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't he fun? Oh, so fine. Isn't it madness? He won't be mine. Didn't I know how it would go if I knew from the start? more than me, more security. He needs his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. It took time to understand him. I know him so
Oh gosh, this is so hard. But my favorite theater memory is just being backstage with everybody and getting to like talk to everybody and just chill out. And even when it's like kind of like high stress, when it's like, oh gosh, we got to put all this together, we can just talk. It's very fun. I really like doing that.
Instead of having memories, I usually think of the overall feeling of the community within the group, and I definitely think anything goes. Just the play in general, every single time we were there, we were always having fun, singing goofy songs. It's just such a fun musical that just any memory from it really is just a fun one.
Being in Once on This Island, my first big production, I felt really proud of myself.
Beauty and the Beast Jr. I got to play Mrs. Potts, and down to the costumes, I absolutely love the role of Mrs. Potts.
My favorite theater, it was probably the Chicago that we did here at Steward. It was the first non-ensemble part I've gotten, other than something I've gotten at Virginia Rep, but it was just, and the camaraderie among all of the cast, and just everyone was so nice, and it was just really nice being able to contribute something other than singing in the background. And
there's so many to choose from, like in Pippin with Evelyn's number. At the very end she says, "And I'll throw you my shawl," and I had to catch it while collecting all the boards.
Ooh. I think specifically my favorite memory would probably be learning the choreography and finally being able to perform all that jazz in Chicago. Definitely my favorite show that I've ever done, but that moment in particular, doing that song was just, I really felt like I was really getting the experience that I had been desiring. It was just such a fun moment to do this choreography and just be up there with the lights and in the all black, and it was just such a cool moment. I loved it.
Mama, I've tried. The act is rotten, I'm rotten in it.
how do you like that? Typical of a kid.
Mama, I'm not June. I can't do what she did.
She's not asking you to.
You want to stay in show business.
If? But I was just saying. That's our whole life. And in this life, you gotta take the rough with the smooth. And like I always say, you're lucky. Because you ain't gotta do it alone. Right, Herbie? Right, Herbie?
Right, dear, whatever you say.
You got Herbie for brains, and we got you for talent. You both have me to yell at. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together. We may not go far, but sure as a star. Wherever we are, it's together. Wherever I go, I know he goes. Wherever I go, I know she goes. No fits, no fights, no feuds, and no egos. Amigos, together. Through thick and through thin, all out or all in. And whether it's win-place or show, with you for me,
and me for you,
we'll muddle through whatever we do together, wherever we go. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together.
a duo.
Whatever the row, I ho, you ho. A trio. And any I O, you I O, you O.
Me oh, no you oh.
No, we O together. We all take the bow. Ring the cow. The business is lousy and slow. With Harvey's vim, Louise's ver. Now all we need is someone with nerve. Together, wherever we go. We go in a group, we tour in a troupe, we land in the soup, but we know the things we do by threes, a perfect team. Oh, this way, Louise, together, wherever, together, wherever we go.
Backstage on Honk, we had these toy things, and they were like really, I don't know, they were like Velcro things, and somebody put one in my hair, and it got stuck. So like I had to go on the show with like this thing in my hair, but like you couldn't really see it because it was like in the back of my hair. It was just funny.
I did Willy Wonka, and we did, we had mushrooms on stage. They were made of styrofoam, but inside of them they were kind of like whipped cream and stuff, and there was like gummy bears on like leaves. And I remember that me and all the like other Oompa Loompas would kind of go backstage, and whatever they didn't eat, we ate.
I remember, I think it was during a dress rehearsal, and it was For Anything Goes. I forgot who they were waiting for. I think it was Trey and Evelyn who were on stage, and they were waiting there for like 10 minutes. And I forgot who was supposed to come on. I forget exactly. They were coming on, and then it was, I think Trey and Evelyn did like 2 minutes of improv followed by like 8 minutes of silence.
I remember, I think it was like the set was first built, and it was like on this island, and there was this like giant platform, and like we were all climbing up there, and we all sort of looked down, and I almost tripped and fell off. So then I never went up there again for the rest of the practices.
There are a lot of shenanigans that happen backstage. I could name probably a whole essay. One in particular that for some reason I remember today, and probably because she's here sitting in the audience, is during Matilda. I don't know if I should say this, but we were backstage when Mara's hospital bed was backstage, and we would just lay on it, and it was very, very comfortable, and reenact the birth scene. It was stupid but really fun.
So the stage was too small to fit all of us. So we were all, instead of like spaced out, we were all like crammed up into a little circle because there wasn't enough room for all of us.
I accidentally threw the ball backstage where it was supposed to get thrown to, I want to say, Juliet. And it just went backstage, so then Evelyn had to run on stage. It's like, do you know where the ball is? I don't know where the ball is. Like all across the stage for Once on This Island. And it was hilarious.
Daddy always thought that he buried beneath him. That's what he said, that's what he said. When he proposed, he warned my mother he was probably her very last chance. And though she was 22, though she was 22, though she was 22, she married him. Life with my dad wasn't ever a picnic, more like a come as you are.
wasn't warm. Well, not to her. Well, not to us. But everything's beautiful at the ballet. Graceful men with lovely girls in white. Everything was beautiful at the ballet. I was happy at the ballet. That's when I started class. Up a steep and very narrow stairway
To the voice like a metronome. Up a steep and very narrow stairway.
paradise.
Wasn't paradise. It wasn't paradise.
But it was home.
Mother always said I'd be very attractive when I grew up. When I grew up. Different, she said, with a special something and a very, very personal flair. Though I was 8 or 9, though I was 8 or 9, though I was 8 or 9, I hated her. Now different is nice, but it sure isn't pretty. Pretty is what it's about. I never met anyone who was different, who couldn't figure that out. So beautiful, I never lived to see. But it was clear, if not to her, well, then to me, that everyone is beautiful at the ballet. Every prince has got to have his swan. Yes, everyone is beautiful at the ballet. I was pretty at the ballet. Up a steep and very narrow stairway to the voice like a metronome. Up a steep and very narrow stairway. It wasn't paradise. It wasn't paradise.
Wasn't paradise.
But it was home.
I don't know what they were for or against, really, except each other. I mean, I was born to save their marriage, but when my father came to pick my mother up at the hospital, he said, well, I thought this was going to help, but I guess it's not. Anyway, I did have a fantastic fantasy life. I used to dance around the living room with my arms up like this. My fantasy was that it was an Indian chief, and he'd say to me, Maggie, do you want to dance? And I'd say, Daddy, I would love to dance. It was clear, that I was born to help their marriage undone.
That's what she said.
I used to dance around the living room.
Not to her.
It was an Indian chief, and he'd say, Maggie, do you want to dance? And I'd say, Daddy, I would love to. think one of the funniest things that's like happened with me and like productions that I've been in is I'm just a clumsy person. So I think I remember during the Crucible we had a set of stairs we had to go up, and like 2 or 3 times I just fell flat on my face on the stairs.
Oh dear. There have been so many times when like you mess up, but the show has to keep going, so you're like laughing at yourself, but you're like mid-sentence, so you just have to keep going. I've done that too many times to count.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
I remember for The Outsiders, Hayden and I, we were practicing for the fight scene, and while we were waiting for more people to come on, I just remember we were just on stage and we were just pretending to have a brawl, and it was very goofy. Mr. Gallagher started commentating on our fight.
I remember in Honk we did a specific one relating to the geese. I'm sure if you were there you would know, but it's an exclusive kind of thing. You had to be there to see it.
I was getting off from a platform and there were like wooden boards around it, and when I was getting off, my character shoe accidentally kicked into like one of the boards, and it was like right on cue too, like it broke right when the silence happened.
Last year when we were doing the Christmas show, I was wearing like these red shoes that looked like Dorothy's shoes, and so like people started calling me Dorothy.
I remember last year, my first show at Steward, Matilda, and we had this. I think it was the last rehearsal, and we had this part right after intermission with Colin and I on stage doing this song, and I remember we couldn't find him, so we were rushing all over the place, and they're starting the music, and he ends up running out right on time, and ended up working out perfectly, but it was just a very stressful thing right there, and we all laughed about it afterwards.
I had to be on stage to sing like something, it was like the ending song, and then I had to go, and I was backstage fooling around, so I missed it. Me and my friend, we were just like there, and we didn't know what to do, so these seniors, they like hid us in, they like sneaked us into the stage.
When you feel sad or under a curse, your life is bad, your prospects are worse, your wife is sighing, crying, and your olive tree is dying. Temples are graying and teeth are decaying, and credit is weighing your purse. Your mood and your robe are both a deep blue. You'd bet that Job had nothing on you. Don't forget that when you get to heaven, you'll be blessed. Yes, it's all for the best.
Some men are born to live at ease, doing what they please, richer than the bees are in honey. Never growing old, never feeling cold, pulling pots of gold from thin air. The best in every town, best at shaking down, best at making mountains of money. They can't take it with them, but what do they care? They get the center of the meat, cushions on the seat, houses on the street where it's sunny. Summers at the sea, winters warm and free, all of this and we get the rest. But who is the land for, the sun and the sand for? You guessed, it's all for the best.
Hey, I can't find my henway.
What's a henway?
I don't know, about 3 or 4 pounds.
Some men are born to live at ease, doing what they please, richer than the bees are in honey.
Your life is
never
bad,
growing old, never feeling cold,
your
pulling
prospects
pots
are
of gold
worse.
from thin air.
Your wife
The
is
best in every town, best at shaking down, best at making mountains of money. They can't take it with them, but what do they care? They get the center of the meat, cushions on the seat, houses on the street where it's sunny.
You bet that
Summers at the sea, winters warm and free,
had nothing on you.
Get the rest.
Don't forget
But
that when
who is the land
get
for,
to
the sun
heaven,
and in the sand, for you guessed, it's all for the best. Alright, chump, you ever heard of Murphy's Law?
Yeah.
Well, you ever heard of Cole's Law?
Nah.
It's thinly sliced cabbage, goes great with barbecues. Some men are born to live at ease, doing what they please, richer than the bees are in honey. Never growing old, never feeling cold, pulling pots of gold from thin air. The best of every town, best of shaking down, best of making mountains of money. They can't take it with them, but what do they care? They get the center of the meat, cushions on the seat, houses on the street where it's sunny. Summers at the sea, winters warm and free, all of this we get the rest. But blue is the land for the sun and the sand for you guessed. It's all for the.
You must never be distressed.
Yes, it's all for the.
All your wrongs will be redressed.
Yes, it's all for the.
Someone's got to be oppressed.
Yes, it's all for the best.
So much. Just the feeling of community gets so destroyed when you're doing it online, and then even when we did it face to face for Hayden's on the subject of Acquitting a Spirit, there was still just like the disconnect between everything was it's tough.
I think the feeling of stage lights, because whenever you're up there and just feeling the heat, but also just the joy that comes from that, I miss that a lot.
Just being with everyone, it's been kind of like lonely. Just we've done shows, but it's like in our houses, on Zoom, on whatever we use to get together, and it just hasn't been. And even if we are together, we have to be 6 feet apart with masks on. It's just not the same as what we used to do.
Opening night, that's my favorite. When the big red curtain comes up and everyone's just there and you can feel the energy of the audience, I miss that so much.
Oh, definitely hanging out with like friends backstage and things like that, and like actually getting to talk to people. I mean, Zoom, you don't really get that. So yeah, you miss a lot, but I'm still grateful to have it this year.
I think I just miss being around everybody backstage.
Definitely the sensation of being on stage, opening night, when all that hard work has paid off and you get to see your friends and family just see you on stage. And it's both a nervous moment and an energetic moment.
Just being able to be on a stage and see everybody out in the crowd and to see how they're feeling, and just being able to just show all these people this performance and see how they react and see how excited they are.
Probably just the sense of like pride and community that comes with it. I mean, there really is no other feeling like being able to perform a show that you have worked so hard on with such amazing people. And obviously there's been that kind of like lack of it during this year, and I didn't realize it at the time, but it's like a part of myself that's been just ripped away. And that's been the hardest thing, I think, is to not have that experience, just that rush of like excitement and adrenaline. And but I mean, we've done a great job of like salvaging the best parts of theater as much as we can. Even if it doesn't look the same this year, I'm just so glad I still get to do something with the people that I love, because it really is about the people for me.
Like being in person to like do the plays and rehearse and stuff.
Just the whole thing. I mean, I have a ton of friends through theater, and being able to be on stage, and
probably like when you have all the rehearsals with all the people, you sort of start feeling like a family.
The hands-on face-to-face interaction, because doing it through Zoom isn't the same as being able to stand next to the person you're acting with or stand next to the person you're singing with. It's a whole different feeling, and I think that what I miss most is that interaction between characters.
I think the thing I miss the most is just being backstage and hearing people chat, like before going on and off, and like moving things, at least moving set pieces on backstage, organizing them, because I also walk backstage for a number of shows, and then yelling at people to be quiet.
So every year we go to New York, and we always go see a show, and that's what I miss most.
I definitely miss the camaraderie of it the most. It's like everyone's just so supportive, but we also like to laugh at each other's mistakes. So it's just something, I just miss that. And I miss being able to hug everyone after a show.
Kiss today goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow. Wish me luck the same to you. But I can't regret what I did for love, what I did for love.
Look, my eyes are dry. The gift was ours to borrow. It's as if we always knew. And I won't forget what I did for love, what I did for love. Gone, love is never gone.
As we travel on, love's what we'll remember.
Kiss today goodbye and point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do.
Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love.
What I did for love. What I did for love. Love is never gone. As we travel on, love's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye
and point me toward tomorrow.
pointing toward tomorrow. We did what we had